Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I wanted to go over the steps or how to get into law school. I'll give you the 5 steps and then I'll scratch the surface at first and then I'll dig deeper and give you my story of how I applied and how I was admitted into law school. So first, of course, you need a bachelor's degree. You need an LSAT score. You need letters of recommendation. And all these go into your law school application when you start applying. So you need letters of recommendation, you need your personal statement, and then you apply to the schools of your choice. I have a bachelor's degree in criminology from the University of Houston Clear Lake. I graduated in December. My GPA was a 3.4, which is not high. It's average on the undergrad level, almost average, but from a law school perspective, that is not a high GPA. That's not a rather impressive GPA. Now on to the LSAT, the admissions test. Is a test that you want to do very well on as well. For me, I was fortunate enough, my undergrad, so I decided to go to law school pretty much my last semester of undergrad. And I think I was already a bit behind the power curve because had I known that I wanted to do it a bit earlier, I probably would have did better or had a better or higher GPA. But my last semester of undergrad, my college, they offered a course, the LSAT course, and it was their first time offering this. It was like a trial run deal, and it was perfect timing for me. So I signed up for it. I took the course, and during my last semester of undergrad, I decided to take the LSAT to basically just to see how I do. I didn't do that well. I scored a 145 on the LSAT, and the LSAT that's actually really low, being that the LSAT ranges from a 120 being the lowest to a 180 being the highest. And to get into the top law schools like the Harvard Law, the Yale Laws, you need a 170 or above plus a very high GPA. The LSAT and your GPA is very crucial because it's kind of like it weighs, or it could be the determining factor. So if you have a lower GPA, you need a very high or a higher LSAT score, and vice versa. If you have a low LSAT score, you need a higher GPA. The next thing you'll need is a personal statement. And the personal statement is a short essay in which you're telling the admissions officer in the admin department who you are and why you're worthy of their program, their law program. I'm a veteran. I was active duty military. I did 6 years in the Army, and I deployed 3 times to Iraq. And, I let them know that in that personal statement. You know, hence the name personal. It's very personal. And I was falsely accused of a crime, and I was arrested. And I also put that in the personal statement. But with the personal statement, you want to kind of come out swinging, or you want to grasp the reader's attention in the very beginning, and that's what I did. And I'll show you guys a snippet or a quick screenshot of my personal statement, or at least the beginning of it. But what I did, I told them, hey, I was a veteran, and I put in there how I almost got killed and how I lost a lot of friends, and how I went through a divorce, and how my ex-wife was hiding my son and keeping him away from me, which gave me the desire to be a family law attorney. I put all of that in there, and you want to kind of you want to keep your personal statement as short as possible. I believe mine was only 1 page, but it was a very impactful page, and I let my friends and family and professors read over it and give me recommendations and help me out, not help me out, but to review it to ensure that it was properly written. I feel as if the personal statement was the determining factor, or the reason why I was accepted into law school, because I had a low LSAT score of 145. Of course, I could have took it again, but I was like, no, I'm just going to take the LSAT once and just see what, if I can get accepted in the schools. And I had a not so high GPA. I had a GPA of a 3.4, 3.4, almost 3.5. And you have to be real with yourself and, be realistic. Now, me, I knew I had not so impressive GPA. I knew I had a very low LSAT score. So I knew I wasn't applying to the Yales or the Harvard law schools. I kept it within my means, and I only applied to 2 law schools. But if it needed be, I would have taken the LSAT again if I needed to. But luckily I was accepted, and my goal was pretty much to just get accepted into a school to get my foot in the door, and that's what I did. With the school that I was accepted into. Next, you'll need your letter of recommendation. With your letters of recommendation, you want 3 professional references, and for me that was 2 professors and my old employer from the military, my NCO. And with the letter of recommendation, it's basically just having that person portray who you are to them, or what they've seen you do, and they're telling the law school why they feel as if you'll be a good candidate or a good student in their law program. I graduated undergrad in December, and I knew if I did not continue to go to school, there was a high probability that I probably wouldn't go anymore. So I had to choose a law school that had a spring start date. And at the time I was applying, there were only 2 law schools that had spring start dates, and I applied for both of those law schools. Of course, you got to have everything in your packet that I just mentioned. You got to have your GPA, your undergraduate proof, your LSAT score, your letters of recommendation, and your personal statement. And each time you apply, you pay to apply. So it's not a cheap process. So you're paying for each school you apply to. I applied for 2 law schools, and so I took my 3.4 GPA, my 145 LSAT, my letters of recommendation, and I put it all in the packet. And like I stated, there were only 2 schools that I could apply for that I chose to apply for. And lucky enough, I was accepted into both of those schools. So now that I've given you the steps that it takes to get into law school, I've given you my LSAT score, my GPA. I gave you a snippet of my personal statement. I want you to comment and let me know your story. If you've been admitted into law school, if you're a JD or an attorney, let me know your story. Comment, subscribe, and tune in for more things, for more all things law related.